This is not just a strategy in relationships, it's an ancient truth, one deeply rooted in Stoicism. The Stoics, from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca to Epictetus, taught us that power doesn't come from control over others. It comes from control over ourselves. And this is where many men go wrong in relationships. They believe that if a woman pulls away, the answer is to chase harder, to beg, to explain, to prove their worth. But Stoicism tells us otherwise. It tells us that strength, composure, and discipline, not desperation, are what make someone truly magnetic. The title of today's video is Women Return to You. Act Like This, Relationship Coach. But this isn't just dating advice, it's about living like a Stoic man. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally draws others back. Not because you beg them to stay, but because you embody such calm strength that they cannot ignore you. So in this video, we're going to dive deep into 7 to 10 powerful Stoic lessons that will not only change how you view relationships, but how you view life itself. We'll explore the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, then connect it to modern challenges men face, especially when it comes to women, attraction and emotional control. By the end, you'll see why women are drawn to men who practice Stoic principles, and how to live these principles in your own daily life. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Control what you can. Release what you can't, Epictetus once said. Some things are in our control and others not. This single line is the foundation of all Stoic philosophy. Think about it. In relationships, what causes the most suffering? It's trying to control the uncontrollable. You cannot force a woman to love you. You cannot control her feelings, her past, or her choices. But what is in your control? Your mindset, your reactions, your discipline. When a woman distances herself, many men panic. They send constant texts, over-explain, demand answers. But all of this is wasted energy, because it focuses on what you cannot control. A Stoic man does the opposite. He says, her actions are hers, my actions are mine. He focuses on his response, on living with dignity. That calmness is powerful, it creates respect. Practical application. When you feel the urge to chase, pause. Ask yourself, is this in my control? Instead of sending 10 texts, send none. Instead of begging, breathe. Channel your energy into areas you control, your fitness, your work, your personal growth. Paradoxically, when you let go of control, you often gain influence. Women return not because you forced them, but because you mastered yourself. One of the most powerful lessons in Stoic philosophy comes from Epictetus, who said, some things are in our control and others not. Our opinions, our pursuits, our desires, our aversions, these are in our control. But our body, our property, our reputation, our status, these are not in our control. This simple distinction is the foundation of Stoicism. And when it comes to relationships, it's the difference between peace and suffering. Why this lesson matters? Think about it. What causes the most frustration in relationships? It's trying to control things you simply cannot. You cannot control whether someone loves you or not. You cannot control how someone feels in a given moment. You cannot control their past, their choices, or their actions, yet this is exactly where many people waste their energy. When a woman becomes distant, most men panic. They send endless texts, demand answers, argue, beg, or over-explain. Deep down, they believe that with enough effort they can change her feelings. But Stoicism reminds us, feelings are outside your control. Another person's heart is not yours to command. What you can control is your reaction, your mindset, your dignity, your discipline. And ironically, when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you regain your power. Historical Stoic insight. The Stoics lived in a world filled with chaos, wars, plagues, betrayal, and exile. Yet they discovered peace by focusing on what was within their control. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote nightly reminders to himself that even though he could command armies, he could not control fate or people's opinions. His job was to govern his own mind. Seneca endured exile and political enemies. Instead of wasting his life resenting what he could not change, he channeled his energy into philosophy, writing letters that still guide us 2,000 years later. Epictetus, once a slave, understood this truth most clearly. Even as a man without physical freedom, he knew he could still control his thoughts, his choices, and his virtue If an emperor, an advisor, and a slave all found peace through this principle, what excuse do we have? How this applies to relationships. When a woman pulls away or acts distant, your first instinct may be to fix it. You want answers. You want to repair the connection. But this instinct often leads to clinging, chasing, and desperation. From her perspective, this is suffocating. It makes you appear weak and insecure because you're fighting battles outside your control. Now imagine the opposite. A stoic man who recognizes reality. If she leaves, he accepts it. If she is distant, he doesn't chase. He acknowledges that her choices are her own. This doesn't mean he's cold or emotionless. It means he's grounded. His sense of worth does not depend on her actions. And that groundedness is exactly what makes him attractive again. Modern life example. Picture two men in the same situation. A woman stops responding to their texts. Man. A panics. He double texts. He asks if she's angry. He tries to prove he's valuable. The more he pushes, the more she pulls away. Man B notices her silence but does not chase. He continues his life, goes to the gym, focuses on work, spends time with friends. He accepts that her silence is her choice. Weeks later, she notices his calmness and curiosity draws her back. The difference? Man B followed Stoic wisdom. Control what you can, release what you can't. Practical advice to apply this pause. Before reacting, when you feel the urge to chase, stop. Ask yourself, is this in my control? If the answer is no, release it. Redirect energy. Instead of pouring energy into someone else's decisions, invest in your growth. Train, learn, build your career, strengthen your body, master your mind. Adopt a mantra, remind yourself daily. Her actions are hers. Mine are mine. This separates what belongs to her world from what belongs to yours. Detach with dignity. If she leaves, let her. If she stays, appreciate her presence. But never sacrifice your inner calm for something beyond your control. The paradox, here's the irony. The more you try to control someone, the less they want to stay. But the more you let go, the more likely they are to return. Why? Because freedom is attractive. A man who doesn't chase signals that he values himself. He shows that his happiness is not chained to another person's actions, and that kind of independence is irresistible. Final reflection. Remember this. Control is an illusion when it comes to others. But mastery is real when it comes to yourself. Women may come back. They may not. That part is outside your control. But whether you stand with dignity, whether you keep your calm, whether you live according to virtue, that is always in your control. And once you truly live this principle, you won't just attract women back. You'll attract peace, strength, and respect into every part of your life. Lesson 2. Indifference is power. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Women are naturally drawn to men who are calm under pressure. Why? Because emotional stability is rare, and rare things are valuable. When you act indifferent, not fake indifference but genuine calm acceptance, you communicate strength. A man who can walk away is a man who commands respect. But indifference does not mean coldness. It means you value yourself enough not to collapse when others test you. Modern example. Think of two men. One is desperate when a woman pulls away, constantly checking her social media, asking friends about her. The other simply carries on, focused on his life, his mission. Which man seems more attractive? Always the second. Practical application. Practice delayed responses to emotional triggers. When you feel jealousy or fear, don't react instantly. Sit with it. Remind yourself. Her opinion of me doesn't define me. A woman respects a man who does not panic when she tests his boundaries. Indifference is not about not caring. It's about not collapsing. Lesson 3. Amor fati. Love your fate. Nietzsche later popularized this Stoic principle, but it comes from Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. Amor fati, love of fate. This means embracing whatever happens, even heartbreak, as necessary for your growth. When a woman leaves, most men see it as tragedy. A Stoic sees it as training. If she returns, good. If she doesn't, also good, because either way you grow stronger. Practical application. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" See rejection as redirection. Perhaps life is guiding you to self-mastery, or to someone better aligned with your path. Journal daily on challenges you face, and how they're shaping you. When you love your fate, even the painful parts, you stop being needy. You radiate peace, and that peace is deeply attractive. Lesson 4. Self-mastery is magnetic. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In relationships, self-mastery is everything. A man who controls his habits, his emotions, his time, and his desires naturally commands respect. Why do women return to men like this? Because self-mastery signals leadership, strength, and stability. Modern example. Think of the man who lets heartbreak destroy him. He drinks, overeats, loses discipline. Now compare him to the man who uses the same heartbreak to fuel his fitness, improve his career, and deepen his wisdom. One becomes unattractive. The other becomes irresistible. Practical application. Practice daily discipline, exercise, reading, meditation. Control impulses. Don't let instant emotions dictate long-term actions. Create a personal code, a set of principles you will not violate no matter what. A Stoic man doesn't lose himself for anyone, and that makes him someone people don't want to lose. Lesson 5. The Art of Silence. Approx. Part 4 minutes. Epictetus advised, keep silence for the most part, and speak only when you must. Many men talk too much when they feel insecure. They over-explain, defend, justify, and plead, but silence can be more powerful than words. When a woman pulls away, your silence communicates calmness. It shows that you don't need to explain your worth. You embody it. Practical application. Resist the urge to argue or convince. Use silence as strength, especially during conflicts. Remember, a man's presence often speaks louder than his words. Silence creates space, and in that space women often come back. Lesson 6. Memento mori. Remember you will die. Approx. 4 to 5 minutes. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of mortality. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Why does this matter in relationships? Because it gives perspective. Many men act as if one woman is the only woman on earth. But when you remember life is short, you stop clinging. You realize you have one life to live with dignity. Practical application. Meditate daily on mortality. This reduces desperation. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I spend it begging someone to love me or living fully? Use memento mori to strengthen courage, to act boldly. When you live with this perspective, you stop being needy. And paradoxically, this makes people want to be around you. Lesson 7. Virtue over validation. For the Stoics, the ultimate good was virtue, living with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Women may come and go, but your virtue remains. If you anchor yourself in validation from others, you will always be unstable. But if you anchor yourself in virtue, you will always stand firm. Practical application. Make decisions based on principles, not desperation. Before acting, ask, is this virtuous? Or is this just me seeking validation? Build your worth on who you are, not who accepts you. When a woman sees that you value virtue above her approval, she respects you, and often she returns to you, not because you begged, but because you live by unshakable principles. Lesson 8. The Stoic calm in chaos. Seneca once said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. Life will always bring chaos, arguments, misunderstandings, distance. The Stoic man remains calm in the storm. This calmness is rare, and it draws people back. Women often test men to see if they can remain grounded under pressure. The man who stays calm passes the test. Practical application. Practice breathwork or meditation during emotional moments. Remind yourself, this storm will pass, but my dignity remains. Train yourself to respond, not react. Calmness is strength, and strength is attractive. Lesson 9. Detachment brings freedom. Epictetus taught that attachment to externals causes suffering. True freedom comes from detachment. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means you love without clinging. You give without expecting. When a woman senses you're free, she feels drawn to you. Practical application. Practice gratitude for the present without demanding permanence. When fear of loss arises, remind yourself, I was whole before, I am whole now. Love freely, but never depend on anyone for your identity. Detachment makes you strong and strength is magnetic. Lesson 10. Live for your mission, not just relationships. Marcus Aurelius lived for Rome, for philosophy, for duty, not for approval. A Stoic man has a mission greater than himself. When your life is about more than women, you become more attractive to them. Purpose is magnetic. Practical application. Define your mission, career, contribution, mastery. Dedicate time daily to your mission, not just relationships. Remember, relationships should complement your mission, not replace it. When women see that you are guided by purpose, they respect you, and often they return because they want to be part of that powerful journey. Conclusion. So let's bring this together. Women don't return to desperate men. They don't return to men who beg or chase. They return to men who embody Stoic principles, self-mastery, calmness, virtue, detachment, silence, and mission. The Stoics teach us that attraction is not about tricks or games. It's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't need anyone yet who attracts everyone. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. If you live as a Stoic, women may return to you. But more importantly, you will return to yourself. And that is the greatest victory of all.